Good evening. Keith Oberman is on assignment. I'm Allison Stewart. Nearly 6 years after the 9/11 attacks, after 4 long years of war in Iraq, and after the many billions of dollars that have been spent on the war on terror, a new intelligence report, the work of all 16 U.S. spy agencies, warns that Al-Qaeda is gaining strength and is still determined to attack the United States. Our 5th story on the countdown. How is that possible? Despite the president's contention that Iraq is the central battlefront in the war on terror, today's national intelligence estimate contends otherwise. It describes Pakistan's tribal areas as the new, quote, safe haven for Al-Qaeda leaders, and that is the main reason Al-Qaeda has been able to reconstitute and expand and be bold enough to look for biological, chemical, and nuclear tools. Iraq, it concludes, is just one of the terror group's regional franchises. Last week, there had been leaks that the NIE was going to report that Al-Qaeda had regained its strength to a level it has not enjoyed since before the 9/11 attacks. At Thursday's press conference, President Bush had been adamant it would not say that. This afternoon, he was clearly pleased with the final draft.
Al-Qaeda is strong today, but they're not nearly as strong as they were prior to September the 11th, 2001. And the reason why is because we've been working with the world to keep the pressure on, to stay on the offense, to bring them to justice so they won't hurt us again.
Now, the report appeared to put White House Homeland Security advisors on the defensive by echoing an earlier assessment out of the Senate that Mr. Bush had been warned in 2003 that Al-Qaeda could exploit a U.S.-led invasion in Iraq.
The president was warned before the war that this was actually going to help Al-Qaeda gain influence. Now you have a report suggesting maybe it has gained influence from the war in Iraq. Isn't that something that the president ignored?
But you're assuming this is a zero-sum game, which is what I don't understand. The fact is, we were harassing them in Afghanistan. We're harassing them in Iraq. We're harassing them in other ways, non-militarily, around the world. And the answer is, every time you poke the hornet's nest, they are bound to come back and push back on you. That doesn't suggest to me that we shouldn't be doing it. It suggests we hardly need to be warned that they're going to use this for propaganda purposes. They're going to.
The very fact that Al-Qaeda may have gained influence in Iraq would seem to undermine the president's case that by fighting terrorists in Iraq, we're preventing Al-Qaeda from coming to the U.S. and attacking here. And as you might have guessed, the White House does not want anyone to infer that from the report either.
It does not say that it has a stronger hand. What it says is that it is going to try to exploit, for political and also for recruiting purposes, anything it possibly can out of the ongoing conflict.